How do? It's time for Indie Spotlight. This week I'm reviewing It's Alright, It's Okay.
It's alright, it's okay, right.
Which is a short film I found on YouTube, but it was through something else because it's by him. It's a short film by the writer and director of Thunder Road, which I've reviewed, and it's on Netflix. You should definitely check that out if you haven't already, because I loved that film. This is a very short film by him. It's like 3 minutes and it's one shot, but it's incredible. The amount that he can get done in that amount of time is just incredible. And it's so like, it's exactly the sort of thing that we're trying to do with this channel. Like the whole thing happens in one shot, but it's not like a Steadicam shot or something tricky like that. It's reminding me more of like the Orson Welles films that he made after Citizen Kane, where he would do the whole thing in one shot just so the studio couldn't mess with it. But it wouldn't be. It's not as simple as just having one sort of camera moving all the way through. It would sort of start off. There's one where it starts off close up of a notepad or something. Then it pulls right back, so you get the wide shot, and then it comes back to a mid, and then ends on a close. So you can do all those shots. There's the way you can do all those shots and have all those things sort of happen in the same way that you would if you were editing it, but get away with it in one shot. And that's what happens here, where there's a little bit more detail gets. Every time the camera moves, you get a little bit more detail, and the plot develops a little further. And even though it's only 3 minutes long, there's quite a lot going on that's revealed in that sort of way. And the other thing that I really like about this is that it's quite a tense situation. It's quite serious, but it's also really funny. And it's not in that way that Taika Waititi or Martin McDonagh do it, where they'll have a serious scene and then they'll throw a joke in at the end as if they're almost apologising for it. I think a lot of comic book films do that as well, where they're like, "Oh, we got a bit serious there, better throw a joke in." This doesn't do it, and what I think the way that it doesn't do that is that it's not trying to be funny per se, but it's letting humour come through. It's not holding back and saying, "No, we can't have humour, this is a serious film." It just lets it come through, and then what you get is you get something that's sort of emotionally it has more depth, because you feel like you're experiencing something that hasn't been filtered. It reminded me of at uni one time someone had made this film. It was really depressing. It was a documentary, and it was a really depressing documentary about a girl who had really bad mental health issues, and she'd gone missing. She'd gone missing at some point, and the documentary was really engaging at first, and it was really depressing. But it had these interviews with the mother and stuff. But after a few minutes, there was nothing but depression there. And I was just like, if it was just one bit where the mother remembered something good about her childhood, or so there was more than just the one emotion there, that would push you over the edge. That's where that comes from. It's not one note, one thing like Requiem for a Dream, just depressing. And what works so well with the approach of this film is that it's not holding anything back. So something funny can happen at the same time as something dramatic happening, but only because it's happened that way, not because it's trying to be this or trying to be that. And sometimes in the middle of a serious moment, if something sort of funny occurs, as long as it's there naturally, that can give you so much more than it being forced or having to say this is serious, having to say this is funny. Things like that I mean, to me, that's where I see, if you have the balls to do both of those things or let those things happen, then you're opening up something much wider and much more human. I think that's what I loved about Thunder Road, and that's what I loved about this shot. So it's alright, it's okay. As usual, the link will be below. Check it out. Leave any feedback if you want, and leave any feedback on the video as well, because I actually wrote a really positive review of Thunder Road, and the production company replied to me. I was really chuffed. That's first bit of fame there. Don't know why I did that. So first bit of fame. So I was really chuffed. It made me really happy because they were happy that I enjoyed it. I was happy that I enjoyed it. It's a good back and forth there. Anyway, I'm just talking shit. Indie Spotlight. Now then, if you liked video, then click subscribe. If you didn't like it, well then bug off. No, don't really subscribe anyway.